हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण. So we'll continue with discussion. I'll share the screen for you. Hare Krishna. So here we'll continue the discussion on this purport. So Imra said, "My dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme, but actually I am not. Above me and above all other demigods, including Indra, Chandra, is one supreme master and controller, the partial manifestation of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who is in charge of creation, maintenance, and regulation of this universe. Is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of the woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him." So this is the point that is made. So we're discussing that this section of Bhagavatam is talking about who is the supreme controller. And the next section will be how devotee should not be touched. So every section, there is some purpose in giving that section. Especially this section is for this, to clarify this aspect. And the next sloka he says this. 12th one Emeraj is saying, and in the 13th he says that just, and 12th one. यम उवाच परो अन्यो जगतस्ततुश्च ओतं प्रोतं पटवत्यत्र विश्वं यत् अंशितोऽस्य स्थिति जन्मनासानस्य ओत्वत् अस्य वशे च लोकः. So this is the example he is giving as the two examples. One is the thread examples. We see the cloth, we don't see the thread in the cloth, right? We are all wearing our dress. And then he is telling about the control of bull is controlled by its ropes. So these are the two examples that are given. And then he gives, just as the driver of the bull cart ties rope through the nostrils of his bull to control them, the Supreme Lord binds all men through the roots of his words in Vedas, which set forth the names and activities of the distinct order of human society. In fear, the members of these orders are worshipped by the Supreme Lord by offering him presentations according to their respective activities. So it is all the demigods, they are all just doing the orders of the Lord. And Prabhupada writes, in the material world, everyone is conditioned regardless of who he is. One may be human being, a demigod, or an animal, tree, or plant, but everything is controlled by the laws of nature, and behind this natural control is the Supreme Lord. This is confirmed by Bhagavad Gita, wherein Krishna says, Maya Dikshena Prakriti. The material nature is working under my direction and producing all moving and non-moving and beings. And then here the point is that every human being expected to elevate himself to the position of a Brahmana, the most intelligent man, and then one must transcend the position to become a Vaishnava. This is the perfection of life. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, they are there. So if Shudra performs nicely, the rules of Varnashrama, next life he will become a Vaishya. He performs rules nicely, Kshatriya, then Brahman. So like that. It is not about bhakti. Bhakti anybody can do and go back from back to God. But in general, if they are following their duties properly, they will be elevated. And they come to Brahmana and then they will get liberation. That is the system. Sve sve karmani abhiratah samsiddhim labate naraha. The division of Varnashrama are necessary to ensure the proper execution of duties and peaceful existence for everyone. But everyone is directed to worship the Supreme, who is all pervading. Yena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Lord exists vertically and horizontally. Therefore, if one follows the Vedic injunctions by worshipping Supreme Lord to one's ability, his life will be perfect. Atapumbi Dvijashreshta Varnashrama. So here the system is very simple. Prabhupada says in the Varnashram Institute there are different names: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Grahastha, Vanaprastha. The Vak or Vedic injunctions give direction for all these divisions. Everyone is expected to follow. So the next verse says that Aham Mahendro Niritti Prescha Somagnir Isha Pavano Virinchi Aditya Vishve Vasavo Atasyadhya Marudgana Rudragana Siddha अन्ये च ये विश्वसृजो मरेषा भृग्वाद्यो अस्पृष्टरजस्तमःक्षा ये यस्ये हितं न विदु स्पृष्टमाया सत्वप्रदान अपि किं ततोऽन्याय. Says Yamaraj, Indra, king of heaven, Niriti, Varuna, Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Shiva, Pavana, Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vishwasu, the eight Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Maruts, the Rudras, the Siddhas, Marichi, and other great rishis engaged in maintaining the departmental affairs of this universe. The best of the demigods, headed by Brihaspati, the great sages, headed by Bhrigu, are all certainly free from the influence of the two basic material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Nevertheless, although we are in mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of Supreme Lord. What then is to be said of others who, under illusion, merely speculate to know God? So the scientists and all, they can never understand only because they are in completely ignorance and passion. The people in goodness only can't understand what to speak of these ordinary fellows. That's what Prabhupada is also going to tell. So they are in a very high level. For them also it is difficult. Prabhupada says men and living entities within the cosmic manifestations controlled by modes. There is no possibility of understanding God. Traigunya Vishya Aveda Nistraigunya Bhavaja. We have to transcend the modes to understand Krishna. Even those in mode of goodness like the demigods and rishis cannot understand the activities of Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Lord personally says that no one can understand him but the bhaktas, who is transcendental to material modes. As Bhishmadev says in Nahi asya karhichit rajan pumam veda viditsatu yad vijnasaya yukta muhyanti kabayo api. Muhyanti kabayo. Even great sages cannot understand. That is Manushyanam Sahasresha. That also Prabhupada quotes. And now Prabhupada gives very nice point. He and Miss Sukhdeva goes, Yamaraj is telling. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entity cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as the super soul in everyone's heart. Not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibrations of words, can the living entity ascertain the real situation of Supreme Lord. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the bodily body's different parts. So legs and eyes, we cannot see our eyes. The eyes can see us. So leg move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them. Hands touch because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of Super Soul who is situated within the heart. As the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvasya Chaham Hidi Sannivishto Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So, Prabhupada is writing the example of eyes and body limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of eyes, but that is impossible. Although we cannot see the super soul in one's heart through the sensual activity, this direction is necessary. So, three more, then this section ends, then I'll show the PPT. What is conclusion in this? Three more shlokas are there. We'll try to understand what exactly about the controllership here. The Supreme Lord is self-sufficient, fully independent. He is the master of everything, including the illusory energy. He has his form, qualities, and features. Similarly, the order carrier Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and transcendental nature, almost like him. They always wander within this world with full independence. So they are also not under your control. Not only by Lord Vishnu, even the Vaishnavas also. Here the important thing you see, Lord along with his energies. If you take Abrahamic religions, now what they say is that Lord is separate and the energies of this world are separate. That's why there is a fight between the God and Satan. They say the evil and the God are fighting. No, no, no. The energy of this world is also Lord's only. See here, He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energies also of the Lord only. You are seeing the difference. So this is a very different understanding on the higher level of understanding, which is given in the scriptures, Vedic scriptures, which is not available in Abrahamic religion. They don't understand this concept. And then it is said that Yamaraj, and another thing is self-sufficient and fully independent. So you don't depend. We are dependent. We are not self-sufficient. So this is another very important quality of Lord. But the order carriers of Yamaraj are very eager to know about Vishnu Dutas, who had defeated them in their encounter with Ajamil. So here Yamaraj is telling, don't touch them. They are beyond your reach. In all, the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Yamaraj is telling, who are worshipped even by demigods, possess wonderful bodily features exactly like those of Vishnu and very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dutas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. So, how the Vishnu Dutas are helping devotees from the enemies, envious people, from Yamaraj, and also natural disturbances. Prabhupada's rating. Yamaraj has specifically described the qualities of Vishnu Dutas to convince his own servants, not to be envious of them. If somebody opposes us, natural tendencies will become envious of them. And here Yamaraj is clearly telling, don't become envious of devotees. That is the disadvantage we have. Whoever opposes are devotees only because we are staying with them. So we become envious of devotees. That is what natural. So here Yamaraj is telling, don't be envious of them. Yamaraj wanted Yamadutas that the Vishnudutas are worshipped with respectful obeisances by the demigods and are always very alert to protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from natural disturbances, from all dangerous conditions in this material world. Sometimes the members of Krishna conscious are afraid of impending danger of world war and ask what would happen to them if war should occur. In Prabhupada's rating, in all kinds of danger, they should be confident for of their protection by the Vishnu Dutas or the Supreme Personality of God. So if war happens also, devotees will written Kaunteya Pratijanehi Name Bhakta Pranashati. Material danger is not meant for devotees. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Padam Padam Yat Vibadam Natesham. This material world are danger at every step, but they are not meant for devotees who are fully surrendered unto lotus feet of Lord. The pure devotee of Lord must rest assured that Lord's protection, and as long as they are in this material world, they should fully engage in devotional service by preaching. The cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, namely the Hare Krishna movement. And then real religious principles are enacted, so Yamaraj is telling, by the Supreme Lord, although fully situated in mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planet cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas and Charanas. So, what actually Yamaduta said, the dharma is what a Shastra is telling. And here Yamaraj is telling dharma is what Lord is telling. Dharmantu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranita. So, Yamadutas are following the book, whereas Yamaraj is following the person. So, what is the difference? The book, the laws which are given in the book cannot be changed, they are fixed. And if you are following a person, we have all possibilities of changes. That is the difference. So, when challenged by Vishnu Dutas, as described the principles of religion, Yamaduta said, Vedo Pranito Dharma. Religious principles are principles enacted by Vedic literature. They did not know, however, that the Vedic literature contains ritualistic ceremonies that are not transcendental but are meant to keep peace and order among materialistic persons in this material world. Real religious principles are Nistraigunno, above the modes of nature, are transcendental. So Yamadutas did not know that the transcendental religious principle, and therefore, when prevented from arresting Ajamila, they were surprised. So materialistic people who attach all their faith in the Vedic rituals are described in Bhagavad Gita. You know, Vedavadaratah Partha Nanyatastidi Vadinaha. They only think of Vedas and they argue on that. So Yamadutas are also arguing on the basis of Vedas only. But not understanding the meaning of this ritual, which are intended to elevate one gradually to transcendental platform of knowing Krishna. Those who do not know this principle but who simply attach their faith to Vedic rituals are called Vedavadarata. Very interesting point here. It is said that if you are following the Shastras, we should know the meaning behind it. That is very important. Krishna is telling that point also. If you know the meaning of Vedas, he gives the example of a well. There are different wells in the village for different purpose. But you have a big river flowing by it, it will serve all the purpose. So knowing the purpose of Vedas, you will know everything. Here it is said, real religion is that which is given by the Supreme Lord. So Dharmantu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranita. So that is real Dharma according to Yamaraj. Vishnu Dutas were faithfully following the book, but they didn't know that behind that is the Dharma which is given by the Supreme Lord. That's why they made mistake. धर्मन्तु साक्षात् भगवत् प्रणीतम न वै विदुर रसो नापि देवा न सिद्ध मुख्या असुर मनुष्या कुतश्च विद्याधर चारणादयः. This is the shloka, 19th wala, which we read now. And then he gives the very famous shloka. These are two very famous shlokas. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumar Kapilo Manu Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvayasakirvayam Dvadashaite Vijanino Dharmam Bhagavatam Bata Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham Yamja Tvamritam Ashnute. So these two shlokas, one is Dharmantu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam Navai Vidur Prasat Na Veda न सिद्ध मुख्य असुरम मनुष्य कुतश्च विद्याधर चारणाय. And then this list of 12 mahajans is given. So how to remember them? Brahma, Lord Brahma, Narada, Lord Shiva, four Kumaras, Kapila, Swayambhu Manu. So among sages, it is Kapila. Among what do you say? Among the demigod sages, among demigods, Narada Muni. And then Swayambhu Manu, Prahalada, Janaka, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj. In Asuras, two personalities are there. And renunciates Sukadeva Goswami and Kumaras. And kings, there are Janaka and Bhishma Dev, Swayambhu Manu. And supreme, there is Shiva and Brahma in gods, supreme lords. Like that, we can remember all of them. I myself know the religious principles, my dear servant. The transcendental religious principles, which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand, but if by chance, unfortunately, understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he enters home back to returns home back to God. So this is the famous shloka of Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada writes, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna refers Bhagavata Dharma as the most confidential religious principle. Savai Sarva Guhyatamam Guhyad Guhyataram. Is the most confidential knowledge, and very few people know it. And one of them is Prabhupada. That's why he could tell us. One must take shelter of one of these sampradaya, these four sampradayas in order to understand the most confidential religious system. Padma Puran states, Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishfalamata. If one does not follow the four recognized disciplic succession, his mantra or initiation is invalid. So now we'll just take the PPT and try to understand it. This is share. Yeah. What all we discussed till now, it's all there in here. So the fight between so the catalyst of doubt that appeared in Yamadutas, they want to know who is the controller. So here Amaraj is very clearly telling that only controller is Krishna. The illusion of ultimate control, the Supreme Lord, Krishna and Vishnu, he is the maintained controller. He is only manifesting as Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. And then there he gives different living entities to control different departments. Right. So then Emerald is telling, my dear servants, you have accepted me as supreme, but factually I am not. Others who control their own departments and affairs of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna. It is clear. So this Otam Protam. The threads are there, cannot be seen. So vertical threads, the Supreme Lord's spiritual direction and maintenance, and metal engine cosmic and the mechanism of cosmic manifestation. They are horizontal, one are vertical. So material energy and the mechanism is horizontal, whereas Lord's spiritual direction and maintenance is vertical. And we see this example of the bull is given. Human society divided into Varnashram, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. The rope is Vedic injection and driver is the Supreme Lord. So everything in the material world is controlled by the laws of nature. However, human beings are systematically guided by the specific ropes of Vedic injunctions to ensure peaceful existence and gradual elevation. And the unseen director anatomy of super soul. The super soul is acting. So even though we are not able to see with the help of eyes only, we are able to do things. Similarly, only with the help of super soul only we can do. Emeraj explained the relationship between the individual soul and super soul using the mechanism of body. The living entity cannot act, remember, or understand anything without a direct sanctioning of the super soul situated within the heart. Right. So this is the point here. We are acting because Lord is present, not possible. The limbs cannot see the eyes, just as legs walk and hand touch only under the direction of the sun. The eyes they cannot see. The living entity acts under the direction of super soul, whose form cannot be ascertained by the material senses of mind. So hands cannot see eyes. Similarly, we cannot see the super soul. With the eyes, help of eyes only, legs are moving and hand is doing, but they cannot see eyes. Similarly, we also are acting according to the super soul only, but we cannot see. Propose writing. I am sitting in everyone's heart. Sorry, it's Bhagavad Gita, 15 chapter 15.15. I am sitting in Sarvasya Shaham Hilsanvishtu. And the limits of empirical speculation. Who can understand the supreme? Emerald reveals the empirical speculation is entirely futile entities controlled by passion and ignorance. So he says, even though perfectly situated in the mode of goodness, the demigods, great philosophers cannot reduce the supreme Lord through exhaustive inquiries, speculations, merely leads to bewilderment. Only those situated in pure devotional service cross the material illusion. Just yeah, you are seeing in this slide, na? The demigods are in a higher position. Then comes rishis, sages. Sometimes rishis, sages can be more than demigods also, and then ordinary human beings. So this is the hierarchy according to the consciousness that modes. And two agencies of the universe, karma and grace. This we have seen also. Subordinate appearance. So how they appear, how they are subordinate, and what is their jurisdiction and so now there is a paradigm. Yamadutas mistakenly believed that religious principle, this is an important point of this also, mistakenly believed that religion simply meant executing Vedic rituals to maintain material peace. Emeraj corrected this factual misunderstanding, dividing religious principle into two distinctions. One is Vedavadarata and Nistraigunya. A ritualistic path which is holding us in the cycle and we are caught up in the cycle. Whereas Nistraguna is elevating us, it is no cycle. We are free from it. So you are seeing the difference. No? Followers who attend their faith entirely on rituals, believing there is nothing beyond them, This keep materialistic person peaceful but permanently beyond bound within the three modes. Whereas a person in Vishnu Dutas, what is the second understanding? Nistrayaguna real religious principle enacted directly by the Supreme Lord. These principles are entirely transcendental. So, what is the essence of Bhagavatam? Is the true Bhagavad Dharma is the true transcendental religious principle is not a complex spiritual. It is Bhagavad Dharma, pure surrender and love for the Supreme. It is the most confidential knowledge, Sarva Guhyatamam. It is difficult for ordinary humans to understand. But if one fortunately grasps it, they are immediately liberated. So these are the 12 Mahajans. Their names are given Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Kumaras, Kapila, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, and Vyasaki. Next is from original authority. To understand this most confidential religious system today, one must follow the parampara system streaming from original authorities. Then this four paramparas is given Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, and Kumara Sampradaya. And who are the predominating form, who are the predominating persons who propagated? One is for Brahma, Rudra Sampradaya, Shiva, Sri Sampradaya, Lakshmi, and Kumar Sampradaya, Kumara like. And the warning is if you take mantra outside the campus, sorry, synthesis, the perfection of life. This is the last slide. It's very nice. First is executing dharma, direct all actions to the Supreme Lord and surrender through parampara. This is all Prabhupada has written in the purport. Okay, any questions, comments? Today we have Rath Yatra, so I am also in hurry on. Okay, if you don't have, then we will end here. Thank you all.